If you have the M mark or a crescent moon on your hand, pay attention. This message is not for everyone. If you've been led here, it didn't happen by chance. There is something different about you, something that has always made you feel that you don't quite belong in this world. You've noticed that your intuition is stronger than that of the people around you, that strange events seem to follow you, that your life has never been ordinary. What you carry in your hands is more than just a drawing. It's a sign, a calling, something that connects you to a greater purpose. From the beginning, you were chosen for something that most people will never understand. The world tries to distract you, tries to make you forget who you really are, but the truth always returns. And now, it's in front of you once again. This moment cannot be wasted. You are faced with a choice. Continue ignoring the signs or finally awaken to what has always been inside you. But know that time is running out. If you don't act now, this chance may never come again. Before we go any further, take a moment to do 3 things right now. Hit the like button. This helps us get this message to more people who need to hear it. Subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 40,000 subscribers, and each new one strengthens this mission. Comment on the number 99. This number will send a powerful signal to the universe, amplifying the energy of this message. And remember, if you really are a chosen one, you will watch this video to the end. Deep down, you already know that this word was meant for you. If you are ready to receive this truth, your life will never be the same. If you've made it this far, you're ready. So let's get going, because this could be the most important moment of your life. You've felt it. Something inside you has always told you that there is a greater purpose for your life, a calling that cannot be ignored. You didn't get here by chance. Everything you've lived through, every challenge, every pain, every doubt, has been a preparation. Now you are facing the decisive moment. This is the turning point. You are about to cross the line between who you were and who you were born to be. But this transition requires something of you. It requires courage. It requires surrender. It requires you to accept, once and for all, that you have been chosen for something much greater than your mind can comprehend at this moment. Many don't make it this far. Many retreat, hesitate, and let themselves be carried away by fear. But you feel that you can no longer ignore this truth. Something inside you burns, calling for transformation. This is the call. Will you answer it? The change you hope for won't come from outside. It's inside you, just waiting for you to take the first step. The step that defines everything. The step that separates those who live in doubt from those who embrace their true identity. The time for waiting is over. So is the time for looking outside yourself for answers. Everything you need is already there, ready to be activated. But that choice can only be made by you. The question now is simple. Are you ready to accept who you really are? Are you ready to take control of your destiny? If your answer is yes, then go ahead. Because this journey has only just begun. The clock is ticking. And with every day that you hesitate, the opportunity that lies before you can disappear. You feel that something is changing, that a different energy is moving around you. This is no coincidence. It's a call to action, now. The universe has already set everything in motion. God has already prepared the way. But there is one thing that no one can do for you. Take the first step. That step cannot be postponed. Every second of doubt, every moment of hesitation is a wasted chance. How many times have you felt that you should have done something and didn't? How many opportunities have passed you by because you waited for the perfect moment? The truth is that the perfect moment never comes. It needs to be created. And that moment is now. If you don't act, if you keep waiting for everything to happen by itself, you'll remain in the same place. Life will keep repeating itself like an endless cycle. And you'll keep feeling that emptiness, that restlessness, that sense that something is missing. But you know what needs to be done. You know that your soul is asking for this movement. So the choice is before you. Are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to get up and take possession of what is already yours? Destiny doesn't wait. Either you decide now, or you may end up regretting not having made the decision sooner. Whenever a major transformation is about to take place, opposing forces try to stop it. This is no coincidence. The enemy knows the power you carry and will do anything to keep you stuck in fear, doubt, and inertia. Have you ever noticed how every time you're about to take an important step, distractions, difficulties, or even people try to demotivate you? This is because there is an invisible war being waged, a battle that you can't see with your eyes, but that you feel in your soul. The enemy wants to confuse you. He plants doubts in your mind, makes you question your worth, leads you to believe that you're not capable. But these are just lies. You can't allow these voices to paralyze you. Another powerful trick of the enemy is distraction. He uses fear, tiredness, and the distractions of the world to pull you away from your purpose. He makes you focus on the unimportant, traps you in cycles of procrastination, convinces you that the time isn't right yet. But now you know the truth. Now you understand that these difficulties are not a sign that you should stop, but proof that you are on the right path. The greater the attack, the greater your mission. The stronger the resistance, the closer your breakthrough. The key to winning this battle is to stand firm. Don't give in to doubt. Don't let fear get the better of you. Don't let distractions divert you from your purpose. You have been called to something great, and nothing can stop it, unless you let it. So now the choice is yours. Are you going to let the enemy win, or are you going to move forward regardless of the obstacles? There is one principle that governs all true transformation: faith. Without faith, you remain stuck in fear, doubt, and stagnation. But with faith, you become capable of moving mountains, opening up impossible paths, and achieving what seemed unattainable. Faith is not just believing. It's acting as if the promise has already been fulfilled. It's taking a step without knowing exactly where the path will lead, trusting that something greater has already prepared everything for you. Have you ever noticed how the most difficult moments in your life have been those in which your faith has been tested? That's because faith is the key that opens the door to the impossible. When you truly believe, when you act with conviction, the universe responds. But here's the biggest mistake many people make: waiting to feel secure before acting. Faith is not about feeling, it's about doing. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need to trust that there is a way, even if it isn't visible yet. And that's exactly what separates those who move forward from those who stay stuck in the same place. Those who trust move forward, even when everything seems uncertain. Those who doubt wait for an external sign to move, without realizing that the biggest sign is already within them. Now look at your own life. Have you been waiting for everything to be perfect before taking action? Have you let fear paralyze you? Or are you willing to finally take the first step and trust that the answers will come along the way? Faith is the key, but it's up to you to decide whether or not to use it. So I ask you, are you ready to trust even if you don't have all the answers? If so, then keep going, because the journey has only just begun. Nothing that happened in his life was by chance. Every moment of struggle, every challenge, every fresh start was part of something much bigger: the divine plan for your existence. From the moment you were born, your path was already mapped out. But most people never discover their true purpose because they spend their lives trapped in fear and distractions. You can't make that mistake. You have been called to something greater. What is happening now is no coincidence. That feeling you have that something great is coming, that restlessness inside you, is confirmation that the time has come to align your life with the plan God has designed for you. But here's the most important point. God is not going to force you down this path. He has given you free will. The choice will always be yours. You can continue living as you always have, ignoring the signs, or you can decide to trust and take the first step towards your true destiny. What God has for you is far greater than anything you can imagine, but you have to be ready to receive it. And that requires commitment, action, and faith. Fear always appears when you're about to take a big leap. It whispers in your mind trying to convince you that you're not ready, that things might go wrong, that maybe it's better to wait a little longer. But that's the biggest trap there is. Fear and doubt are not signs that you should stop. They are proof that you are on the right path. If you weren't moving towards something great, these barriers wouldn't even exist. The greater the purpose, the greater the resistance. Now stop and look at your life. How many times have you put off important decisions because of fear? How many opportunities have been missed because you didn't feel prepared? What would have been different if you had simply trusted and moved on? The truth is that fear will never disappear completely, but it doesn't have to control you. The key is not to wait for it to go away, but to act in spite of it. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means that you don't allow it to paralyze you. What about doubts? They will come, as they always have. The mind will try to seek guarantees, to ask for proof that everything will work out. But that's not the way of faith. Faith requires you to trust before you see. If you wait for all the answers to appear before you act, you'll remain stuck exactly where you are. So now you have a choice. Will you allow fear and doubt to stop you from experiencing your true transformation? Or are you going to face them and move forward, trusting that there is something much greater waiting for you? The time for hesitation is over. You already know what you need to do. Now all that's left to do is decide, go forward or go back. If you're ready to move forward, Keep going. The best is yet to come. Have you ever wondered why some things take so long to happen? Why, even if you try hard, some doors seem to remain closed? The answer lies in something that many people ignore. God's timing is different from ours. Human beings want everything for now. They want immediate answers, instant changes, and quick results. But God works differently. He sees the whole picture. He knows the exact moment when each thing must happen so that your growth and transformation are complete. And herein lies the greatest challenge, to trust even when nothing seems to be happening. Because in reality, there is always something happening. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but plans are already moving behind the scenes. The problem is that many people give up long before they see the result. Waiting is never easy. It can be frustrating, tiring, even painful. But what you need to understand is that waiting time is never wasted time. God uses these moments to strengthen you, prepare you, and shape your character. He doesn't just want to give you what you want. He wants you to be ready to receive and sustain that blessing. Now think, how many times have you tried to accelerate something and ended up realizing that you weren't ready? How many times have you looked back and realized that if you had received what you wanted at that moment, you might not have been able to handle it? That's because God doesn't delay, and He doesn't get ahead of Himself either. He acts at just the right moment, and that moment could be now. But for that, you have to trust. You need to stop fighting time and start flowing with it. Nothing great happens without persistence. No real transformation takes place without commitment. You may even feel that you're on the right track, but if you don't have the discipline to keep going, you'll remain stuck in the same cycle. Many people start a change but give up when they encounter difficulties. They want the result, but they don't want the process. They want the victory, but they don't want the struggle. But the truth is simple. Only those who persist see the promise fulfilled. Have you ever noticed how every time you decide to change something in your life, the challenges increase? It seems that suddenly everything becomes more difficult. This doesn't happen by chance. Whenever you take a step towards your destiny, resistance comes along to test you. And that's exactly when many people fail. They give up at the first hurdle, they turn back at the first sign of difficulty, and they go back to where they were, as if nothing had happened. But that can't be your story. You've come too far to turn back. Now is the time to prove to yourself that you really are committed, because what lies on the other side of this journey is far greater than any obstacle in the way. Commitment means moving forward even when you don't see immediate results. It means trusting the process even when it seems difficult. It means remembering every day why you started and not allowing anything to make you give up. Now look inside yourself. Are you really committed to your transformation, or have you let difficulties stop you from moving forward? The answer to this will define your destiny, because only those who persist reach their true purpose. If you've decided to keep going, keep going. The best is yet to come. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to grow and become stronger as a result of difficulties, while others get overwhelmed? The answer is simple. Challenges don't come to destroy you, but to shape you. Nothing great is born without a process of refinement. Gold needs to pass through fire to become pure. Diamonds only form under intense pressure. In the same way, your journey requires you to face challenges that will strengthen your faith, your resilience, and your determination. It's natural to want to avoid pain. Nobody likes to suffer. But what if, instead of seeing challenges as barriers, you started to see them as stepping stones, as opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and better prepared for what lies ahead? Every obstacle you faced so far has brought you this far. Everything that seemed impossible in the past has been overcome. And now, faced with new challenges, the only question that remains is, will you use them as a boost or as an excuse to give up? The truth is that the greatest achievements belong to those who learn to turn pain into learning, difficulties into growth, and trials into preparation. Because that's exactly what challenges do. They prepare you for something greater. What you are facing now is not a punishment. It's training. It's a test to see if you're really ready for the next level. And those who pass this test come out transformed, stronger, and more confident than ever. Every great transformation requires preparation. You can't enter a new level of life without first being ready to sustain it. Many want to grow, but few are willing to go through the process of preparation that growth requires. If God has something great in store for you, He won't just hand it over before the right time. He wants to make sure you're ready, because a gift received prematurely can become a burden instead of a blessing. Think about it. A farmer doesn't harvest before the right season. The soil needs to be prepared, the seeds need to grow, time needs to do its work. If he tries to rush the process, the harvest will be weak and lifeless. In the same way, your journey requires patience and preparation. Often, what you see as obstacles are actually opportunities for growth. They are tests that are shaping your character, strengthening your faith, and teaching you lessons that you will need in the future. But here's the big mistake. Many people want the elevation without the preparation. They want the blessing without the process. But God doesn't work like that. He doesn't just want to get you to the top, He wants you to stay there. And for that, you have to be ready. So instead of wondering why things haven't happened yet, start asking yourself, am I really ready for what I'm asking for? If the answer is no, then this is the time to strengthen yourself, to align yourself, to prepare for what is already on its way. Because when the right time comes, there will be no more time to prepare. You will have to be ready, and those who are will be elevated. Now the question remains, are you preparing or just waiting? If you've chosen to prepare, go ahead. The next phase is closer than you think. The desert, a place of silence, of trial, of solitude, a time when it seems that nothing is happening, that your prayers aren't being heard, that the path has become hazy. But what many people don't understand is that the desert is not a punishment, it is training. In the history of the great chosen ones, there has always been a period of desert before the great transformation. Moses spent years in the desert before leading his people. Joseph was thrown into the pit and imprisoned before becoming governor. Jesus spent 40 days in the desert before beginning his ministry. Why? Because the desert is the school where the truly called are shaped. If you feel like you're going through a dry spell, where nothing seems to be moving forward, where your prayers seem unanswered, understand, God hasn't abandoned you. He is preparing you. In the desert, you learn to trust, to depend entirely on God. You let go of what no longer serves you. You are strengthened for what is to come. The desert is not the end. It is the transition between who you were and who you are destined to be. But there's a mistake many people make. They resist the desert, they fight it, they try to leave before it's time. And they end up returning to the same old cycle without ever experiencing the fullness of what God has prepared. Now you have to decide, are you going to embrace this process and allow it to strengthen you? Or are you going to resist, prolonging this period even further? The desert has a purpose. It is not permanent. If you learn from it, you will be led directly to your destination. From the beginning, you felt that you were different. There was always something inside you that set you apart from the rest. A deep sense that your life had a greater purpose, even when no one else could see it. That's not imagination. It's a calling. The chosen carry a mark. Some see this mark physically, in the lines of their hands like an M or a crescent moon. Others feel this mark spiritually, as a constant restlessness, an uncontrollable desire to understand the truth, a call to something greater. But there's a problem. The world tries to erase you. From an early age, you were taught to doubt yourself, to question your gifts, to fit into patterns that were never meant for you. They tried to convince you that you were just another one. But that lie never managed to hold you completely. Because deep down, you always knew. You were born for something big. Being chosen doesn't mean having an easy life. On the contrary, your journey has always been marked by challenges, rejections, and trials. But there is a reason for all this. Each obstacle has been a preparation for what is to come. Now is the time to accept. Accept your identity. Accept your mission. Accept that you can no longer live as you did before. The question now is no longer, am I a chosen one? The question is, am I ready to live like one? If the answer is yes, then move on, because this journey has no turning back. We've come this far, and now you know the truth. You understand that it wasn't by chance that you found this message. You know that your journey is unique, that your life has a greater purpose, and that everything you've been through so far has only been preparation. But there's something very important you need to understand. This isn't the end, it's just the beginning. Many people stop when they discover who they really are. They become paralyzed between the past and the future, between doubt and certainty, between faith and fear. But that can't be your destiny. You weren't called to stop halfway, you were called to go all the way. Now, the decision is in your hands. Everything that has been said here will only have value if you act. If you take hold of this truth and allow it to transform your life. The journey of a chosen one is not easy, but those who persist are the ones who see the promise fulfilled. Those who refuse to give up are the ones who experience victory. So I ask you, Will you take that step? Will you assume your true identity? Will you leave the past behind and move on to the future that has already been prepared for you? There is no more room for hesitation. The time is now. The world needs you. Your mission is waiting. Your story is just beginning. There is only one thing left to do. Move forward and never look back. Hit the like button. It helps us get this message to more people who need to hear it. Subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 40,000 subscribers, and each new one strengthens this mission. Comment on the number 99. This number will send a powerful signal to the universe, amplifying the energy of this message. See you soon. Until then, keep your faith strong, your mind open, and your heart ready to receive all that is in store for you. So long, and never forget, the best is yet to come.